Hi, I'm Jennifer Morris for Howdini. So if you think fat is a dirty word, think again. Not all fats are created equal. So here to weight the good, the bad, and the ugly fats is Elizabeth Sommer. She is a registered dietitian and the author of 9 popular nutrition books. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello, Jennifer.
So how can fats be healthy? Because we always think bad fats are bad.
I know. Well, a few years back, all fats were bad, kind of like one of those soap opera stars. You're either all good or you're all bad. And now we know it's not quite that cut and dry. There are some good fats and some really bad fats. The bad fats, I think most people understand, are the saturated fats in meats and fatty dairy products. They clog your arteries and are directly related to heart disease, colon cancer, and numerous other conditions. Trans fats they're now getting out of processed foods are also bad fats that cause heart disease. But the good fats are even better than the bad fats are bad. For
That's
instance,
good news.
the fish oils, the omega-3s, we have just all kinds of research, and I'm sure what we know is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the health benefits. We know that those omega-3s in fish, such as the omega-3 DHA, is important in lowering heart disease, possibly rheumatoid arthritis, certain forms of cancer, boosts the immune system. There's limited evidence right now, preliminary evidence to show that DHA may boost brain function, reducing the risk for dementia, Alzheimer's disease, boosts mood. There's even reduced aggression. I mean, it goes on and on. But we need a significant amount of that omega-3 in order to get those effects. We also know that the fats in olive oil, the monounsaturated fats in olive oil, nuts, and seeds are also very healthy and help to reduce the risk for heart disease.
Okay, so now where do we find the unhealthy fats? Can you give me a couple of foods right off the top of your heads?
Okay, well, it's the saturated fat and the trans fats, and the saturated fats are found in all meats.
Okay.
You know, but the leaner the better, but you're still going to get saturated fat. Even an extra lean hamburger, there's still saturated fat in there. There's saturated fat in butter or whole milk or cheese. In fact, Americans have cut back on meat knowing that it's high in saturated fat, but we've more than tripled our intake of cheese, which is even more laden with saturated fat than meat is. Okay. So it's really, you know, choose the low-fat or the non-fat versions of cheeses and dairy products to get some of that saturated fat out of the diet.
And is it okay to have a little bit of saturated fat? So, or should we have no meat? Should we have, anything in moderation okay?
Well, the recommendations is to keep the total amount of trans fats and saturated fat to less than 10% of total calories.
Okay.
But keep in mind, both of those fat are not essential nutrients. If you never had another gram of saturated fat in your diet, you would be fine. Your body doesn't need it. And we know that the more you consume, the worse it is for your arteries and so forth.
Now, how can we get the good fats? We've got the bad fats. How can we get the good fats into our diets?
Okay. Well, the recommendation for the omega-3s, in particular that DHA, which is really important, is that we get at least 2 to 3 servings of fish every week into the diet to lower heart disease risk. Or that equates to about 200 to 300 milligrams of DHA. Okay. The problem with fish, though, is that people are concerned about the mercury, the pesticides in it, pregnant women in particular. So if you're concerned about those contaminant issues, if you're a vegetarian and you don't eat fish, or if you can't afford to eat wild salmon 2 to 3 times a week, or just don't like it, then look for foods that are fortified with a DHA called algae-based DHA. It's contaminant-free, it's vegetarian, and it's put into a whole bunch of different foods these days.
Now, is there such a thing as too much good fat?
Yes, you could go overboard, especially if you were supplementing. So for instance, if you started taking handfuls of fish oil supplements, one of the downsides is that these fish oils can be blood thinners at very high doses. So if you're on Coumadin or warfarin or some sort of blood thinning medication, your doctor should know if you're taking large doses of fish oils. The other oils, like olive oil and those, it's more of a calorie issue. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's lard, butter, or olive oil, they all have 9 calories a gram. And with 6, almost 7 out of 10 Americans battling a weight problem, you can't just start drinking olive oil because it's good for your heart. Keeping your waistline down is just as important. So, just use some common sense.
Thank you. More great advice from Elizabeth Sommer.
Sure.
I'm Jennifer Morris for Howdini.